What is overproduction and how can you avoid it as a producer? I'm gonna give you some tips. Yo, welcome to the channel where we talk about music licensing, music business, and music production. If you like any of the above, definitely like, share, and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all my latest content. Now today we're going to talk about overproduction, what it is, and how to avoid it. Now if you don't know what overproduction is, it's pretty much producing a track and putting so much musically in a track that you don't leave room for the vocals to shine. If you're producing a record for an artist or even for TV and film and people are going to be talking over this track, it can be too busy if you put too many instruments in and too many melodies and too many things that could clash with the vocals. You have overproduction, and it's something that producers struggle with. It's something that I struggle with in my early years producing. It's something that should be avoided because it could ruin your chances of getting placements and ultimately, being a successful producer. So I'm going to share with you how I conquer or overcome or avoid. That's a better word. So I'm gonna give you some tips on how I avoid overproducing. To begin with, less is always more. A lot of times we kind of overthink things. I know me, I'm a musician, so I hear a lot of things and I just want to put it in because it sounds great. But I have to ask myself, is this leaving room for the vocals, for the writer to write to? I've sent tracks to writers before, and sometimes they were just like, yo, like, this joint is too finished, like it's too much. I can't write over it. I can't think of melodies. I can't think of lyrics because there's so much going on musically that I cannot write to your track. And that was when I realized, okay, I need to tone it down a bit. I'm using way too many sounds, too many melodies are going on. So less is more. So now I usually use maybe about 4 sounds, and it just depends on what's going on. If I use more than that, usually it's a sound that's doing the same thing or playing the same melody as something else. So it's not like 5 different melodies going on at the same time. So I try and keep it minimal and just rock with, around 4 or 5 tracks or whatever. Maybe even less than that. It just depends on what I'm working on. And that's a way that I avoid overproduction. Another thing I like to do is if I want to do more, I'll hold off. I'll start with maybe a few sounds, and then if I want to add more or if I have more ideas, I'll hold off until after I send it to the writer or the artist to do their thing, have them record all the vocals, and then if I feel like it still sounds empty, that's when I'll go back in and then add little, coloring or whatever to the track, or the ideas that I had to where it's not clashing with the vocals. Sometimes I'll have the vocalist record all the vocals and then it's just like, yo, this joint don't sound empty anymore. So there's no point of me adding the stuff that I thought I was going to add because I thought the joint was empty, but it really wasn't empty because I was just about to overproduce a track, which I didn't want to do. Let the songwriter do their thing and then go back, and if you feel like it's still empty, do your thing. But always keep in mind that it's the vocals that you want to shine, or it's the dialogue on a TV show that you want to shine. And that helps me kind of tone things down, and it keeps the main goal in mind, which is to let the vocal shine. The main elements that I usually have in my tracks are like the chords, the main chord progression. So that may be like a piano or an electric piano or something like that. Then I may have a pad sound, and then I'll have like a lead melody that I'll have in the hook or something like that. So those are like the 3 basics. I always start with those 3, and then of course I have the drums and everything. But those, as far as sounds, I usually start with those 3, and then everything else is pretty much just adding color or kind of building the track. And then depending on what's going on lyrically or vocally, I may even take some of those sounds out or tuck them back in the mix, so that they're not competing against what's going on vocally. So yeah, so those are ways that I avoid overproduction. What ways do you avoid overproduction? Leave some tips in the comment section below, and we can just have a discussion. We'll talk about it, share tips, and we'll learn from each other. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe, and until next time, people, peace, and stop overproducing.